Hello students, welcome to Trunkie Academy. Uh, yeah, from last few classes we are studying about the natural resources, and with regard to that we studied about the air, water as important natural resources and their important role in sustenance of life on earth. And after that we also studied about the oxygen cycle, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, etc. And yesterday we studied about the ozone layer, okay, importance of ozone layer, how it protects the living organisms on earth, okay, and how there is depletion of ozone layer, and how can we prevent this ozone layer depletion, okay. Now today we will study about the manures and fertilizers, okay, because you know that in case of production of crops, okay, what we do is we are applying different kinds of fertilizers, chemical fertilizers or manures to grow crops, and also we are using some kind of pesticides that is also harming the crops to some extent, and also it's very harmful for the environment. It mixes with the soils, it is harmful for the microorganisms and other bigger organisms that is present in the soil, okay. So now we will go through how we are using manures and fertilizers. So our topics will be manure and fertilizers, then we will study about the irrigation, okay. Manures and fertilizers. Manures and fertilizers. So normally what happens, we see that there are some kind of crops which require different kinds of mineral nutrients for their proper growth and development, and to produce a crop in good quality, in good produce in good number, there has to be good supply of manures and fertilization so that the plant can grow well, okay. So deficiency of plant nutrients and organic matter in the soil uh, is made by adding manures and fertilizers to the soil of to the soil of the crop fields, okay. So adding a deficiency of plant nutrients and organic matter in the soil is up by made up by adding manures and fertilizers to the soil of crop field, okay. There may be some kind of deficiency of nutrient, okay. So that is compensated by applying or adding manures and other fertilizers, okay, in the crop field. So okay, this is the normal process for growing the crop in the crop field, okay. Now what is manure and then what is fertilizers? First we'll study about the manures, okay. Manures are actually the point number one. Manures are these are the natural fertilizers, okay, are natural fertilizers. And they are bulky source of organic matter, because in case of the chemical fertilizers, they are mainly artificial, made of the chemical substances. Okay, but in case of manures, there are natural fertilizers formed by composting, uh, vermicomposting, etc., and that adds the natural organic matter. Okay, so uh, these actually, they are main source of, they are main source of organic matter, which supply nutrients, which supplies nutrients in small quantities, small quantities, but organic matter in large quantity. Now see the difference. The mineral nutrients or some other nutrients are supplied in minute, little quantity, small quantity, and the organic matter, okay, that is supplied, or it is provided by this manures, are in large quantity. Okay, so that is the important point. Manures are prepared by decomposition of animal excreta and the plant waste. Okay, manures are include farmyard manure or compost or green. Okay, so these are actually, number two is the prepared by by the decomposition of, so this is prepared in the natural way. Okay, no harsh or harmful chemical compounds are added, or because this is not prepared artificially. Okay, this is a natural process, decomposition of animal excreta, or you can say even the composting, that is also a natural process, it's a organic process. Okay, and animal excreta and plant waste, okay. Examples are farm yard manure, okay, compost, okay, green manure, etc. Okay, so this is an example of the manures. Now, what important role this manures play, or what is the advantage of using this manure in plants? Okay, how it helps the plant in the growth and development. So, advantage, functions or advantage. Okay, so role, or you can say role of manures. Number one is the manure helps in enriching, soil with nutrients and organic matter, and increasing soil fertility. Now try to understand, help in enriching soil with nutrients, because these manures contain some important nutrients, okay, and they supply in small quantity, and they also supply organic matter, and thus by supplying these nutrients and organic matter, they are increasing the soil fertility. Okay, so they makes the soil fertile and suitable for growth of the crop. Okay, so that is another one. Okay, now the bulk of organic matter, the bulk of organic matter in manure help in improving soil structure. Soil structure. This actually involves increasing increasing the water holding capacity. Now this is also a very important point. Water holding capacity. So what happens? Capacity in sandy soil. Now, in case of sandy soil, what happens? The water leaches down. Water sits deeper into the earth, and the soil, the sandy soil at the upper layer, there is the scarcity of water. But in case of this addition of organic matter, okay, presence of organic matter by adding manure, that helps in improving the soil structure. It means that the presence of organic matter in the soil that facilitate the water holding capacity, because the presence of that organic matter, they keeps the water absorbed. Okay, if there is no organic matter, what will happen? There will be between the sand particles, the water will sits down much deeper into the soil, okay, into the earth. So that is not suitable for growing the crops, because the growing crops, they need water. The roots of the crops need to absorb water from the soil. So by adding this organic matter, it is increasing the water holding capacity. So this is another important point. Okay, manures provide soil for microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, which helps in making the nutrients available for the plant. Okay, so another point is that manures provide food for soil organisms like bacteria, fungi, etc., which help in. So in turn, these microorganisms are very, very important. Some microorganisms that is present, or soil microorganisms, or other microorganisms that is present in the soil, they also play a very important role in soil fertility. Okay, because they are providing, somehow they indirectly they are helping the plants to provide the nutrients. Okay, so which help in making nutrients available to plants. Nutrients, because they are decomposing and breaking down the different decomposing substances, organic substances in the soil, and then after breaking, they are making it available for the plants to be used. Okay, available to plants. So that is one. In using manures, we use biological waste material. So that is another advantage point, because we are, when composting domestic waste, vegetable waste, and some kind of organic waste, we are using to prepare the manure by composting. At the same time, the waste is also being utilized, and also we are getting the manure which can be used for increasing the soil fertility. Okay, so that is another advantage. Okay, and manures contain substances which act as stimulant for seed germination and plant growth. So this is so first one, what I told you is that it uh, it is uh, it is eco-friendly. I mean the use of manure, eco-friendly. Okay. Number 5 is this, manures contain substances which which acts as a stimulant for seed germination, for seed germination and plant growth. And plant growth. Okay, so these are the important role and functions of the manure. Okay, they are providing the nutrients, they are providing the organic matter in large quantity, thus increasing the soil fertility. They are providing the bulk of the organic matter which helps in this improving the soil structure and thereby increasing the water holding capacity. Manures provide food for the organisms that are present in the soil like microorganisms, bacteria and fungi, and this helps uh, in providing the different types of nutrient to the plants because these microorganisms are breaking down and making the different types of nutrients available to the plants. Okay, using this manure is very eco-friendly because we are converting the waste, different type of organic waste, into useful products, and there is no harmful effects of using these manures. Okay, like in case of the chemical fertilizers, there may be some harmful effects, but here it is eco-friendly, no harmful effects on the environment. Manures can contain substances. Some substances are present in the manure, natural organic substances, which acts as this stimulant, which activates the seed germination, acts for the as stimulant for seed germination and plant growth. So these are the advantage of the manure. Okay, now we come to the what are the types of the manure. Okay, and there are actually 4 types you can say, and you can say types of manure. Types of manure. Of, okay. Okay. The first number one is the farmyard manure. Okay, number the farmyard manure. Farmyard manure. Based on actually these different types of manure are actually divided on the biological waste material. What kind of biological waste material has been used to prepare this manure? Depending on that, these are classified into different types. That is the 4 types, and number 1 is the farmyard manure. This in the short form is FYM, FYM, the farmyard manure. Okay, so it is the decomposed mixture of cattle excreta, dung, okay, and urine along with litter, and leftover over organic matter. Okay, such as roughage or such as roughage or fodder. Okay, now try to understand this. When we say farmyard manure, it is actually prepared by decomposition of the excreta, cattle excreta, okay, like the cow dung and the urine of the some of the cattle, and along with the litter and leftover organic matter, that is the roughage or fodder that is given to the cattle. Okay, so that is the one. Okay, and the waste materials are collected daily from the cattle shed and stored in a pit for decomposition by microorganisms, and then these microorganisms act on these waste material on excreta, and they convert these into useful manure. Okay, so what are they? The waste material are collected. Waste material, okay, collected daily, collected on daily basis. Okay, then deposited uh, and stored in a pit. Now from here the microorganisms, they act and prepare the manure. Okay, so the decomposition, they make a decomposition. The process is the decomposition. So decomposition takes place and the manure is prepared. So this is how this farmyard manure is prepared. Okay, so every day the cattle's excreta is collected and stored in a pit, and then these are left for some days to be converted into manure, and this manure is formed by the decomposition of this excreta by the action of microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi, and finally the manure is prepared. Okay, so this is the important. Now we will see the another is the compost. So number 2 type is the compost. Okay, it is mixture of decomposed organic matter, and it is the mixture of decomposed organic matter derived from garbage, sewage, vegetable waste, okay, and okay, so it's a mixture of decomposed organic matter derived from the garbage, sewage, vegetable, and so many different types of waste that may be organic in nature. Okay, like vegetable waste or different garbage. So that is decomposed by the action of bacteria, okay, and other microorganisms to convert into some useful manure. Okay, to form the compost. Okay, so the mixture is it's also decomposed in the pits. Decomposed in pits. Okay, and process is known as composting. Okay, so this is another one where we use this this the composting is done by some kind of earthworm, okay, or some kind of the earthworm like organisms, then it is called the vermicomposting. So another is the vermicomposting. It is also composting, but only difference is that here we are using earthworm also, okay, vermicomposting. So the degradation of, this is important for exam, the degradation of organic waste through through consumption by earthworm, through consumption by earthworm is called vermicomposting. What happens in case of vermicomposting? Earthworms are allowed to feed on the organic waste. They are feeding, and they are then the excreta that they are releasing are very important, very useful, very effective, and very high quality manure, and that can be used for grow crops nicely. Okay, so earthworms used in vermicompostings are Dicogaster bolani and Brody Wellison. So important examples of the earthworm. Okay, the scientific name are, this is the Dicogaster bolani. Examples are Dicogaster, Dicogaster bolani. Okay, on important species of earthworm. Okay, and Dravida Willisi. So these are the two species. Okay, example of the earthworm, EW earthworm. So Dicogaster bolani and Dravida Willisi, these are the two important earthworms. So what happens? These earthworms are eating, feeding, and then they are releasing the excreta, which are very fine and very useful and very high quality manure for using to be used in the crop field. Okay. Now number 4 is the green manure. Green manure. So here I'll write earthworm feed on waste, organic waste, and then manure is formed, excreta of earthworm. Okay. In case of green manure, what do you say? It is prepared by cultivating pits fast-growing green manures, crops like sunham, horse gram, guar, cowpea, before sowing seeds. So some kind of plants are grown, some kind of crops are grown, so that will help in enriching the soil, and that is called the green manure. So what we are doing, prepared by cultivating fast-growing green manure like sunham. So I'll write. So it is prepared by by cultivating fast growing green manure crops like sun hem, horse bram, guar, cow pea. Okay, before sowing of seeds. Okay, the fast growing crop is then plowed, okay, back under the soil, and they thus are decomposed and they serve as the green manure. Okay, so the fast growing crops are plowed. The fast growing crops are plowed back under the soil, back under the soil. So decomposition of these soils, they are then providing the nutrients and organic matter to the actual growing crop. Okay, when the seeds are sown on the soil. Okay, so green manure enriches the nitrogen. Okay, green manure enriches the soil, enriches the soil with nitrogen. This is very important. One of the very important mineral nutrient, or you can say the element nutrient. It is the nitrogen. Okay. Then with the phosphorus, as well as organic matter, organic matter. Okay, and provides protection against the erosion and leaching. This is also important. So these are the things. So there are 4 types of the manure. Okay. Now we come to the fertilizers. Now we studied that the fertilizers are very eco-friendly. They provide organic matter, nutrients, etc. But in case of fertilizers, these are not eco-friendly. Okay, because they are prepared chemically, and there can be some harmful effect on the environment. Okay, depending on the fertilizers. Okay, so fertilizers are commonly produced plant nutrients in factories. In the fertilizers supply nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Okay, so mainly they supply nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Okay, they are used to ensure good vegetative growth. Okay, good wheat, and to ensure that the growth of the plant is crop plant is good and giving rise to and the crops are healthy. Okay, so these are used to ensure good vegetative growth. Giving rise to healthy plants. Okay, that means for these are providing some important nutrients like potassium and nitrogen. Okay, and the phosphorus, etc. So these are directly providing the nutrients, and they play a very important role in proper growth and healthy plants. Okay, so we will write there are some different types of fertilizers. Okay, we write the names and which nutrient they are providing and the examples we will see. Okay, so there we will make in tabular form types of fertilizer types, then we'll nutrient they are providing, nutrient and examples. Okay, in case of the types, nitrogenous, nitrogenous fertilizer. Okay, the nutrient is nitrogen, and examples are here urea. Okay, CONH2 twice, ammonium sulfate, ammonium sulfate, NH4 SO4 ammonium sulfate, sodium nitrate, okay, NaNO3, NaNO3, and sodium nitrate. Okay, so these are the examples of the nitrogenous fertilizers. Okay, now we'll see about the phosphatic, the one that will provide the phosphorus. Okay, so phosphatic fertilizer. These were the nitrogenous fertilizers. Phosphatic fertilizer. Okay, phosphorus, single superphosphate, and then we have got dicalcium phosphate, okay, these are the examples. Now we come to the another one is the potassic, that provides the potassium. Potassic fertilizer. So they build potassium. Potassium chloride. These are all our chemical substance. KCl. Okay. Potassium nitrate. KNO3. Okay. Complex fertilizers. Another is the complex fertilizer. Complex means there can be more than one type of nutrient provided by these complex fertilizers. Okay, so two or more nutrients. Okay, so there may be nitrogen or P2O5, okay, or K2O. So examples are nitrophosphate. So nitrogen and phosphorus both are being supplied with the help of this fertilizer. Okay, ammonium phosphate. So these are the different types. Now you can see nitrogenous provides nitrogen fertilizer. Example, the urea, okay, ammonium sulfate and sodium nitrate, phosphatic fertilizers that provides the phosphorus as important nutrient, and this is the an example of potassium chloride. Potassium chloride and potassium nitrate. Okay, potassium chloride and potassium nitrate, KCl and KNO3. Complex fertilizers means the one that has got more than two or more than two. Okay, different types of like nitrogen as well as the phosphorus and or nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. All these are being supplied from one fertilizer, one chemical substance. Then it is. But the fertilizers are harmful to use because they are in this has to be used scientifically. Okay, if the farmers and the person who is using these fertilizers are not having a proper knowledge of the uses of these fertilizers, so this may cause some harmful effects in the environment. Although whether however it is used, okay, there is harmful effects on the environment. These chemical substances are going to harm some kind of organisms, some kind of create a harmful effects in the soil or microorganisms. So that is going to ultimately going to harm the environment. Okay, so that is the reason. Now in the next class tomorrow we'll study about the irrigation. This was all about the manure and fertilization. As told you, manure are eco-friendly, and there are 4 types: farmyard manure, and then there is the green manure, then we have the compost and vermicompost. Okay, different types of organic matters are found. A bulk of organic matter is present in this, and also some important nutrients are available, and that is helpful for the growth of. Okay, and it also increases the water. We will meet again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye. See you tomorrow. Bye. Okay.